Oppa Gundam style, everybody, and welcome back once again to WoW Cool Robot, the Gundam show with the soup. I'm Max, I use he, him pronouns, and with me as always is Jake.
I'm Jake, I also use the he, him pronouns.
Hey Jake, fucking...
Hey Max.
Uh-oh.
Yeah!
Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta is a show that features war crimes and war criminals.
No, Double Zeta is that goofy show that everybody needs to skip because it's just goofy.
Mobile Suit Double Gundam Zeta it features a character whose personal mission it is to do as many fucking war crimes as he can in a 4-hour window, and by God, does he succeed.
He's like, hey, what if I made the world actively worse?
What?
And he's like,
it would be cool. I'm going to read the Antarctic Accords that are inside the glove box of every mobile suit these days. And I'm going to look at them all and I'm going to say, today I will do the opposite of all of these things. I think that Double Zeta is a good show. And I think that anyone who says otherwise is a fucking buffoon.
Agreed.
That's where I'm at. And we had a little bit of a backward situation in that I believe I watched these episodes yesterday. I had some free time. And I think you watched them pretty much right before we started recording. So I was simply smiling, sitting in my chair, just nodding. And you said, "I'm starting the episodes," and I said, I just sent you a smiley face." And then you and foolishly, Jake, you said that you were having a good time watching them.
You know what? For a little bit, I was.
The first two it really tricks you. It's like, hey, remember Zeta Gundam, the last show? And I said, yes, I do. And then it said, haha. Remember Space Colony? I said, yes, I do. And then the show said, well, look up in the sky, motherfucker. Have fun.
Guess what's happening?
Oh, God. Fucking Chicken Little Sky is falling. Hate to see it. Let's just get into this episodes. I'm ready to start talking about them.
Hell yeah.
I forgot to fucking write up episode summaries. Give me 1 second while I pull up the Gundam wiki. Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta, episode 33. An afternoon in Dublin. The Argama rendezvous with the Gundam team and sets course for Dublin. Bright heads off on his own for an interview with a Federation high official at the beach estate, but is followed by Judo. When Judo becomes violently angry with the official's lackadaisical response to the situation, he and Bright end up confined in the basement. They're saved from their predicament by Fa Yuiry! Hashtag justice for Fa. I was not expecting to fucking see Fa in here.
Yeah.
The episode really did say, like, hey, remember Zeta Gundam? Because it brings back a fucking lot of shit. Some things that I didn't really expect to see. It's cool. I really appreciate how Double Zeta's, like, really a direct sequel to Zeta. Like, you know, Zeta's obviously a sequel to 0079, but, like, Double Zeta literally starts, you know, right when Zeta ends. So it's just cool that it's just, like, this perfect continuation of it. And it even does so to the point where, like, you know, it brings stuff back in a decently organic fashion, you know?
Yeah, and kind of like I said, I think in our first episode, it really didn't feel like this is the next Gundam series. It just felt like this is the next Gundam episode.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like I think a very good way to put it. Where it's just like, yeah, you know, it's more of the show that you love, and it's cool. I you know, I really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to like continuing Double Zeta and seeing where it ends up.
Me too.
So yeah, this one's starting out. The Argama is flying over just like grasslands and forests and rivers and stuff. And I was really confused when this started because I feel like a lot of stuff is going on that doesn't really get fully explained till later. Because Bright's talking to Torres and he's saying, you know, we're going to change course soon. And Asinosh sort of comes in and says the Mark II's repairs are completed. And like they all sort of mention like they don't even say what it is. They're speaking in like the vaguest possible terms here. They're like and the you know what. And I was really confused, right? Because I feel like I guess I know that I think they're talking about like getting pulled to a doctor or something and figuring out what the fuck her deal is, but it's just very weird that like they're speaking so mysteriously about it because I feel like it almost happens to the detriment of the audience here.
Yeah, I agree. I had no idea what was going on until like I think they mention Pull right before her and Elle walk in the room. Yeah. And so then it kind of pieced together, but
it's weirdly written, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ella and Pull run in because they had this big old pile of laundry. And Ella's like, well, we can only really get laundry done during quiet times like these. It's like an inventory check. Basically, she's like, all right, we're fucking throwing away everything that we don't need. Go through the entire laundry pile and tell me what you want to keep. Which is just like, damn, it feels like I'm in fucking high school again. My mom's like telling me to just throw my shit out.
Like, but I need all of it.
I need my shitty underwear with holes in it. We look out the window of the bridge of the Argama and we see a forest, and Bright is like, this is a man-made forest. And he sort of has this little talk to them, and I think the orphans are here at this point. And he's saying how this is a forest that was replanted by humans after the war, and if they hadn't replanted it, this entire thing would have been like as desert as the Sahara was, which is like interesting. I appreciate that angle from Gundam yet again, that like people are still trying to make the Earth a livable place. We don't need to fucking go to Mars, Elon.
Yeah, and I just really appreciated it for the world building and like the little bit of history that they really didn't need to throw in there, but they still felt like doing it anyway.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's good.
It could have easily just been like, oh, yep, we're flying over the forest. Whatever.
Right, yeah. But they actually turned it into a little bit, just like a little bit of lore. It's like, ooh, yummy, thank you.
Yeah.
And then like the last scene of this is this cute little thing where, Elle holds up this like pair of ripped underwear and Bright gets really embarrassed about it. And Elle's like, well, I wasn't saying it was yours, Dad. And just like, oh, I love this. I love this continued Bright is their dad angle. They're always bringing it up and he fucking hates it.
He's like, what did you say?
I'm not your dad.
And then we cut to Haman, who is talking to...
we still don't know this fucker's name.
Yeah, I just wrote gray hair swoopy boy. About how they don't have any pilots who could sync with the Psychomio. And so they're going to send some cargo to Glimmy.
They're talking like in the most fucking casual way. They just mention, oh yeah, by the way, we still have the fucking Psycho Mark II and we fix it up completely. And I'm like, sisters. And as soon as she mentioned that, I know, I'm like, okay, so fucking Pol 2 is going to be the one piloting the Psycho Mark II. And
yep, that's exactly where my mind went to.
It's very easy to tell that, but like, they've mentioned the Psycho Mark II earlier in the show, right? This isn't the first time they mentioned it.
Yeah, very briefly.
Okay, yeah, because like I think that I feel like I remember us talking about this, where it's like, okay, yes, they made a point of the show to show that the Psycho Mark II wasn't like blown the fuck up. It's just kind of like, messed up, but still intact. So it makes sense that Zeon would have recovered it, but it's like, they're saying, oh yeah, by the way, it's combat ready now, and we have the full Psychomu and everything. So it's just like this nice name of something to be afraid of in the future. And then we get introduced to our delightful villain of this week, Jake.
Yes, they brought in Lex Luthor from DC Comics.
They brought in Mr. Luthor. I know you have a very busy schedule being the mayor of Metropolis, but please, sir, if you could spend a little bit of time just shooting at some teenagers in a robot, I would really appreciate it, sir.
And his actual name is Arius MoMA.
Arius Museum of Modern Art.
Hey, I only wrote Lex in my notes.
I just fucking like half the time I forgot his name. I just wrote bald guy. It's just Seth Everman is here to kill some teens, to fight them in the cool robots. But yeah, he's our villain, Arius MoMA. He's on his way to Glemmy. And then, he's in this shuttle. We see a shuttle launch, like as Hamon's talking to her lieutenant. So basically, from what I understand, that shuttle, there's several shuttles. And I think one has a Psycho on it, or maybe Glemmy already has a Psycho. Again, for some reason, either I just wasn't paying attention when I was watching this first episode, or like I just really... It's written in a very strange roundabout way, but like Arius MoMA is piloting a shuttle. I think, no, you know what it is? I think Glemmy might already have the Psycho, but Arius has the Baoos in that shuttle that he's going to fly over to Glemmy. Because the next scene we kind of get is Arius flying to Glemmy, and he sees the Argama, and he says, let's take a detour and cause some trouble on purpose. Yeah, does that make sense to you? I feel
that sounds about right.
Yeah, there's something I think with the beginning of this episode that makes it a little bit hard to follow, but I think we kind of got there. By the way, new paint job for these Baoos. It's no longer like the sort of like Glemmy only prototype. These are, I guess, mass production Baoos or some sort of production Baoos, but they are green and gold now, and I quite like this look.
Me too. It looks very, very much like much more soldiery and kind of uniform. It kind of works with like the stock Zeon uniform. It is very cool.
It very much is reminiscent of that sort of drab military green that not only the Zaku's use, but like is a standard military color around the world in real life. But you do have a bit. I mean, obviously the whole thing is it's a Baowu, right? We've seen the design before. It's very much a double Zeta Neo Xeon class design. You have this similar gold trim, especially on the verniers in the chest and the vents in the chest and the verniers on the arms. You see it in the skirt binders. You see it, a lot of gold, like sort of like on the chin and the big old crest behind his head. But it's just this really, really slick looking dark green, black and gold that like really, really works for it. And, on paper, you say green, black, gold was a weird color combination. This thing fucking totally works. I really love the Baowu.
I kind of think I like it better now than the original coloration.
Honestly, looking at it, I think I might be with you. There's something, what I think it is? I think the design of the original Baowu, or just like the base shape of the Baowu is so sort of pointy and ostentatious that I think it doesn't need that like red and gold trim all over with like that big fucking kanji symbol on the left skirt. I think it still looks very good with a more muted, more, less crazy color scheme that I think works in tandem with the weird ass shape of it. I think I'm with you. I think I like the standard colors of the Baowu more.
I just about said me too.
Yeah. Aha. Let's see. So he goes to attack the Argama, and we see a quick little conversation where Astronot's talking to Bright, and he's telling Bright, hey, like, we should probably start using pull in battle if we want to start winning fights. Like, she's just, she got the fucking brain juice. Let's put her in a robot.
And I was like, Astonage, you're not losing fights, really, buddy. I mean, this is the protagonist ship. You're doing all right.
I think, to Astonage's credit, though, he's the one who has to clean up the messes. Like, when the kids go off on a wild tear and blow off all the arms and legs of every single mobile suit they have on the Argama, I'm sure Astonage's like, can't we please use a fucking funnel one time? Come on, dude. Because remember, the Q-Blade is on the Argama. They have the Q-Blade. Like, they didn't leave it in the ocean. So clearly,
that's true.
Like, it's still there, and not to play the hand too early, I did catch a little glimpse of the episode preview for the last episode, or the one that we're going to talk about next week, and we do see the dark purple Q-Blade again, so,
Hell yeah. Ooh,
I miss it. I want my Q-Blade to show up. I've realized that's going to be my double Zeta. Gunpla update. You have your double Zeta master grade, and my relevant series Gunpla will be the Q-Blade, which will be arriving hopefully before double Zeta ends, which I'll be very excited to build because I'm currently building I have my Zeta diorama on my desk at work where I have like all my main Zeta robots, and the Q-Blade fits with both Zeta and double Zeta. But as of now, I don't have anything else from double Zeta. Maybe I'll just go fucking sicko mode and buy the RE100 Hama or something like that. But until then, Q-Blade.
Hell yeah.
Let's see it.
Is it the master grade Q-Blade?
No, yeah, sorry. It's just the high grade. God, the master grade Q-Blade is fucking hard to come by, I tell you what.
I found it at my local hobby shop like a couple years ago, and oh man,
I'm so jealous. Cool. I remember seeing you post photos of that. I really want to. There's a couple hobby shops nearby. There's like, the problem is nearby is like 15, 20 minutes away, and it's like I'll drive there at some point, but I just don't really want to. Although this week it's gonna be like 70 degrees. Maybe I'll go off to work one day or something.
Hell yeah.
Gun Blue update over. What happens next, Jake?
So Judo asks why they've changed direction and they're not heading to Norway anymore. He's like, don't you want to see your family? And Bright says, if we survive, I'll see them someday.
This just fucking immediately yeets Judo into space. He starts seeing the suit big time.
He's like, what the fuck? And he has flashbacks about Lena, and then just Poor all kid. Of a sudden weirdly kind of snaps out of it like nothing happened at all.
Yeah, and Pull's trying to snap him out of it too, and then Pull, I think, kind of like vibes with Judo enough to know that he's still hung up on Lena and runs away crying. And I'm like, can you fucking not, Pull?
Okay, that makes more sense. I had no idea why she ran off.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, like, as Judo spaces out, because, Judo's like, oh, if you survive, you see your family. Like, my sister did not survive. Aha, very cool, Captain Bright. And yeah, Pull's like, oh, he's still hung up about his fucking dead sister. And she runs off crying, and he sort of like has to run off chasing her. And then, yeah, and this is when we get the mention where Bright says that he wants Pull to get checked out by a doctor in Dublin. I guess because he is probably correctly assuming that Pull's some fucked up cyber new type, and they want to make sure she's good to go. with the whole Rosamia and 4 bullshit, and he saw what happened to Kamille, so maybe let's not mess with cyber new tapes for a while, huh? Who could possibly say? And then this is when Arya sends his 3 Baoos to attack the Argama.
And so Bright gets notified about the enemy mobile suits, and Judo chases Pole to the hangar, and she can feel something. She's like, it's here.
Uh-oh, sisters.
And she kind of says to Judo, like, I know you wish I had died instead of Lena. And he's like, what? No, that's what? No.
First of all, I did not say that. And she just doesn't fucking care one bit. She runs off anyway. Another important note is that Bright does mention, I think to Astonaj and no one else, he sort of mentions that getting Pole to see a doctor is more incidental. The main reason he wants to go to Dublin is to go to Beach Mansion because he mentions that's where a bunch of Federation elites have holed up. So I feel like Bright's going to go give him a piece of his mind.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Fucking doing one good action per week is all Bright's allowed to do, apparently.
And then Pole jumps into the core base and closes the hatch.
With Eno still inside. Like, Eno was, like, I think just doing maintenance on it or something, and she just jumps in and closes it. He's like, I don't want to die, and Pole's like, I do. Sorry about it, homie. It's a little bit silly because you don't get the feeling that she's in real danger. Like the death flags aren't up right now, right? Right now, it definitely seems like Pole's just throwing a tantrum. But I didn't get the feeling of like, oh shit, Pole and Eno are gonna die in this scene. No, the whole time I knew that they're gonna be fine. That's just fine.
Yeah, and so Pole heads out with Eno still in there, and she yells out, "I'll defeat the enemy even if I'm all alone." And, Eno reminds her that she is, in fact, not alone, and she should try to be a little careful.
I'm in here with you, Pole. It's fucking funny. But yeah, the whole time she's like, if I die, then Judo's gonna care about me as much as, he cares about Lena. And, like, Judo gets in another core and flies off and is, like, trying to stop her. And then, like, Judo eventually drives off one of the Baoos attacking her. And she realizes, like, oh, no, I can't die here. Judo cares about me. And Judo's like, yeah, fucking... I've been saying this, Pole. I've been saying this. And
you were the one who said I didn't.
Yeah, this is your words, Pole. And then Beach is also here. He's fighting another Baooo. And, like, he's about to get got by Arius when he's saved. And then Pole, like, new type, locks on, fires a fuckload of missiles at him. And at this point, Arius's wise guy plan is like, all right, well, now we got this fucking empty shuttle flying around. Let's ram it into the Argama.
Yeah, and he's like, let's stop wasting time with these small fries or else the Argama's going to get away.
Let's get that big ol' fish. They fly into a cloud bank where, low visibility, hard to fight and everything. All the cores are sort of separated from the Argama. It's on its own. And then we get a really, really cool moment where Pole kind of flies nearby one of the Baoos and is able to just like straight up like new type tune into their radio or something and like hears exactly what their plan is. And she just kind of like zaps it over to Judo, and Judo's like, I understand completely. Thank you, Pole.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I quite like it, I like to see new type bullshit, and I really like that it seems like Pole and Judo are really getting this cool link where they just like, telepathically be like, just tell each other quick things, and they're just like good to go, I really dig it.
And then there's one guy who he has Judo in his sights, and he's like lining up to shoot him, and Pole turns and like shoots out his eye camera, like his main camera, and so he gets stunned. And then that shuttle that they're going to ram into the Argama, like, flies in, up behind him and, like, smashes into him.
It's almost funny where he's, like, just kind of floating there, stunned, and the shuttle just, like, boom, just, like, hits him right from behind. And then the shuttle just, like, also just gets completely shot down. So Arias and his cool plan lost 1/3 of his units and his entire shuttle. Sorry about it.
But then Beecha is up in the... up in like high clouds, and he sees the other shuttle fly overhead, and he's like, what is that?
I guess that was a Psycho Mark II.
I think now that I'm remembering that, I think that one might have had the Psycho Mark II. Maybe the first shuttle that they were in, that maybe they were like
guiding it, or like what's the word, escorting it. Oh, okay, yeah, like an air tugboat.
Yeah,
that's what they call it in the Air Force, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. The point is, Glemmy's gonna get the Mark II, right? We'll see that soon. So then we just straight up cut to Bright. He's like on the ground. he is walking up to this beach mansion place. He kind of gets held up by some other feds there. And, you know, they have the guns on him. And Bright's like, can you tell I'm not suspicious by my military uniform? And they're just still, you know, staring him down like, state your name and rank. And, like, no, he's just like, I'm not suspicious. Fucking walking up. I'm not going to shoot you. But it's very weird that, like, Bright's just, like, going to this place alone, you know?
It's very strange. And we'll see later that not as only is he going all alone, he is going completely unexpected.
Yeah. We get a quick little cut over where the Argama and the Zeta are trying to, like, cover themselves by, you know, like, forest camo and stuff. Rue's in the Zeta, and she's, like, you know, doing the most of the work because she kind of sees the kids driving away, all of them pretty much except for Rue, to go shopping. And then Rue, as they drive away, Rue kind of does the thing where she, like, pokes her fingers through, and she's like, it must be nice to be so simple-minded.
I was like, okay, Rue, you're coming back into my good graces.
I wish I was a fucking dumbass too. And I said, yeah, me too, Rue. I wish I was stupid. I wish I didn't have to worry about things. Wish I could just go shopping. Let's see. Then we cut back over to Bright. No, wait. No, real quick. Haru's with the kids, right? The kids are taking Pull to the doctors. And then Judo sort of hears that Bright is doing his thing. And he's like, I'm going to go hang out with Bright. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, he hops out of the truck and he's like, Pull, stay with them. Be a good kid. For once, please.
Please, God, Pull, don't do this bullshit. Pull, I don't want you to be Pull, do not be the main source of conflict in this episode. And then the finger on the fucking monkey's paw curls.
And then, yeah, Bright, we cut back to Bright at the mansion. And they're like, oh, he's interrupting our lunch. And they're like, oh, but it's Bright Noah from the Argama. They're like, oh, shit, okay, well, yeah, then bring him in. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we love that. We love that guy. Bright, we love Bright. We love Bright. Everyone loves Bright. But yeah, he sort of, we see these like Federation fat cats enjoying their big meal. We get this like weird little bit of conversation where one of the guys said to the main admiral there is like, like who would ever eat synthetic meat? And the admiral guy says, well, it's supposed to be, be better for you. And he says, well, I'm a smoker too. And it's just like, oh, I fucking hate your guts immediately.
Yup. I think that was what they meant to do, and they accomplished it very soundly.
They are laying it on so fucking thick in these episodes. Oh my God. It is like, it's that Tim Heidecker screenshot. I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
And then so Bright's talking to them, and they're like, well, yeah, you're inconvenient to us because you oppose our peace policies. And he's like, are you trying to tell me that just giving Side 3 to Haman is a peace policy? Just giving up is a peace policy?
Just kidding, I was wrong. It was Gareth Marenghi. Wasn't Tim Heidecker. It's Gareth Marenghi's Dark Place. Before anyone gets fucking mad at me. But yeah, the whole thing is Bright is like chewing these guys the fuck out because their plan for peace is to give Haman an entire side and hope that she leaves them alone afterwards.
And I was like, have any of you ever like studied a war, like just in history class even? Like, do you really think...
The fuck you think's gonna happen?
Have you read Give a Mouse a Cookie?
Yeah, if you give a Haman a space colony... And he says, and fucking Side 3, that's where Zeon's from. That's only going to fuel the fires. And then the fat cat is like, it's funny. All my notes just say the fat cat. I don't say the Admiral of the Federation guide. It's like, he's a fat cat. You know, we know what that is. And he sort of tells Bright, go along with it. You know, hey, the Argama and the Aug and Krupp will all get a nice check from this. Like, we'll decommission your ship and you'll be able to relax and just hang out with a bunch of money after the war. And then fucking at this point, Judo jumps in because he's like hanging from the balcony and he's like, hey, my sister died in the war, fuck you. And he just like jumps on the table and like grabs the Admiral by the neck and just like decks him in the face in like one of the most satisfying Gundam punches I've ever seen.
Hell yeah. And he's like kicking their food all over the place. Like, no, you guys aren't eating anymore. Fuck you.
Because you people are doing nothing, the world is going to hell. Like, Judo is on the warpath right now. I love it. This kid fucking rules.
But then, because it's the military, a bunch of guys with guns show up, and they're like, okay, knock your shit off, kid.
Yeah, they do quite get held up by the fucking, like, 10 military guys. Uh-huh. Hey, Jake, what the fuck we see next?
So, next we're just, we're at it looks like a hospital, and we see someone taking care of one of the patients, someone with black hair, and then she turns, and is that I think that's Fa Yuiry.
Hashtag justice for Fa. I'm so glad that if it fucking came to fruition. Look, I'm just going to say it right now. I was so worried, Jake. I was so worried that they were going to reintroduce Fa into the fold and double Zeta in this part, and something bad was going to happen, and she was going to end up dying. You know what, Jake? Justice for Fa. We did it. Fa's okay. Yeah. I'm saying this right now, listener. You don't need to be afraid. Fa makes it out. Fa is okay. It brings me immense pleasure. I wish all Fa Yuiry a very pleasant live. I'm just so happy. Justice for Fa. We did it. We've come full circle. She walks by. She has like, one of those carts. And she kind of walks by Ina, who's in like the lobby or reception or whatever. He's like kind of asleep and he wakes up and he like sees her and he's like, huh? It's probably the wind. In like the Skyrim bandit voice.
And then Pol gets let out of the doctor's office that she's in. And she runs past back to the lobby. And Fa's like, this kid smells funky. This kid smells like the Argama?
I understand that like it would make sense that the Argama would have a sort of smell that, because she'd been there for so long, but like also, what the fuck does the Argama smell like?
I really don't want to know. Like, probably what could it be?
What's the funniest answer? Is it weed? Do the kids all just smell like weed? Did Char smoke so much fucking weed on the Argama that it's just like so fully seeped into everything? I don't know. It smells like soup, perhaps? Smells like a nice potato onion soup, maybe? I don't know. The point is, the kid's got some stank on him.
Some noticeable stank.
They got stink lines everywhere. A new type is merely being accustomed to the smell of yourself.
And honestly, like the one character to smell strongly of the Argama, I don't think so, because she's addicted to baths.
That's the thing. She's the one who's been on the Argama for the least amount of time, and she takes baths every single day. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. Why would it be Pol? I mean, I guess, the Argama clearly has a big old stink that no matter how... It's like a skunk. You can take so many baths, you just can't get rid of it.
Maybe it's in the water, even.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It's like that fucking... It's like that, how they have to cycle everything through space? Like, all the water gets recycled, like, it gets deoxygenated and, like... hydroxynated. There's a process for turning water into air and vice versa, I believe, and that they actually use in space. Could be wrong, but I'm probably not. I've never been wrong in my life. Maybe that's what it is. So I'm sure there's an actual legitimate reason, because like I know space itself has this like weird metallic smell, if I've heard correctly. Long story short, kid's stanky, but she runs out. She's discharged, and then we see all the kids outside, and they're like, loading up the truck. They've all gone shopping, and Judo's still gone. Like Pol's kind of asking after him. They're like, oh yeah, he went after Bright. Whatever.
And they're just like, yeah, maybe he went back to the Argama. Who cares? It's fine.
It's probably fine. Meanwhile,
like, I wonder.
I'm currently thinking about it. And we cut over to the Sandra, and Glemmy's there. We love Glemmy. Stan Glemmy. He sends Arius out yet again in some base jabbers to hit up Dublin and do a bit of a war crime. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he wants them to go track down the Argama. They know that the Argama is in or around Dublin, but that they didn't dock at the port. They know that somehow.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it would make sense, because you would certainly be able to see the Argama. It's bright white. It's very easy to spot. It doesn't have any camo colors or anything.
And then next we see Judo and Bright are just kind of, locked up in the basement.
They simply are in jail. Not good. And not good that they're in jail at this current juncture, because Arius and his friends are now bombing Dublin, and the team have to hurry back to the Argama. And, bombs are going off everywhere. The entire countryside's being fucked up. And the Federation people are running out of the mansion. And then we get one perfect shot. We get this just wonderful, beautiful scene of the main admiral guy looks up and he sees a missile fall from the sky, head straight through the mansion, and hit him directly. And, the entire, high-up Federation people are just completely fucking annihilated. You love to see it.
And the house is, now on fire and filling the basement with smoke.
Mm-hmm. It's probably not good for them, I don't think.
But thankfully, a medical team quickly arrives, and among their numbers is Fa.
Yay! But, Fa's not gonna be able to hear them. They're in the basement or anything. And then, of course, Judo, we see like a shot of Judo like ramming, like shoulder bashing his way into the door of the basement, and like the guard is just dead outside. Like he ain't getting let out. But then Fa kind of hears a little bit of something.
Yeah, she's like, I recognize that voice.
Mm-hmm. I recognize that stank. A quick shot of here of Rue and Bisha heading out to fight the Baowoos because, they're not going to do nothing while the entire city gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bright and Judo are now they're having kind of a hard time with the smoke. Bright is on the ground trying to keep it as low as possible so he doesn't breathe it in. And Judo kind of looks like he's about to lose consciousness a little bit.
They both are like about to die pretty much.
And then they hear Fa yelling in through an egress window. She's like, is there somebody down there?
Is that what it's called? An egress window?
I think so. That's what our realtor called it when we were moving in, I think.
Damn. Fucking fact of the day. Pretty cool. Love that.
See, egress window. Yeah.
Hey, okay, all right. Well, don't say you never learn nothing when listen to this podcast, folks.
Yeah, sometimes we can be the Smart Gundam podcast.
Every once in a while. Only because we're ahead of Mobile Suit Breakdown right now.
Yeah.
So fucking Fa hears them, and Fa's plan is to ram her Jeep into that window enough times for it to break down. But fucking Fa to the rescue, just as for Fa, she does it, she rescues them.
And so she busts down the wall.
Fa
and
busting through.
Thankfully has a rope in her Jeep, and so she throws it down, and they climb out of the Arkema.
Yeah. And she's like sort of drives off with him, and Bright's like, why are you here? And Fa's like, why are you here?
And this smartass.
Oh my god, I love his line here.
He said, I came to shed tears after being smothered in smoke.
It's just like Bright himself admitting, yeah, this is a stupid fucking idea I had, but I'll own up to it, I guess.
And that is kind of where the episode leaves off, was just with her driving them off towards the Arkema.
That's episode. So how about we just cut over, let me just get this ready. Let me just cut over, Jake, how about you just like lead us through to the next one real quick.
Alrighty. Oh, I didn't realize how much of a spoiler the title is here. Okay, episode 34. Yeah, right. Kamille's voice.
I know that guy.
Launching in the Double Zeta, Pol manages to drive off the enemy from the Arkema, but now the Federal forces are demanding that they disarm. When they hear from Fa that Kamille has disappeared, the Arkema's crew divide to help her search for him. While this is happening, Pol sorties alone in the Mark II and finds herself in a tight spot. But then she hears someone's voice.
This episode...
Dot.
This episode made me fucking lose my marbles, Jake. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it was so good.
It is like one of the most hype, like, and look, Gundam shouldn't necessarily be a hype show, but this was a hype episode, I tell you what.
Hell yes,
I was hooting and hollering and clapping like a trained seal when shit started happening. How does this one start out, Jake?
So this one starts out exactly where the last one left off. We were still in the middle of the fight. Mm-hmm. And Fa is starting to worry about Kamille. And so she's like, hey, can I just drop you off right here? And I'm going to go check on him. and Bright's like, oh, yeah, it's just right around the other side of the hill. No worries.
Yeah, sure, we're fine. But it's just like, Camille's here also, which part of me is like, okay, that makes sense because, yeah, like, Fa's going to make sure she takes Kamille with her all the time. But, like, Camille's here? That's a crazy coincidence. But then we cut over, we see the Argama, everyone's trying to mobilize. Ino is like, hey, I'm going to get in the Hyakushiki this time. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Ino. And then L wants to head out in the Double Zeta, but Pol is already in the Double Zeta. So then L's like, all right, I'm getting the Hyakushiki. Ino, get in that fucking bike. And I was like, aw, I guess I won't see Ino in the Hyakushiki yet. Very sad.
Judo and Bright see Pol drive or fly past in the Double Zeta, and they're like, whom's to the fuck?
Mm-hmm, that ain't Judo.
Judo's like, that's my ship. That's my Gundam. Excuse me.
Yeah, excuse me. And we cut over, we see Bisha getting just totally fucked up by Arius and Donna, who are both in the Baoos. Bisha's in this Mark II. And eventually, Pol shows up in the Double Zeta and, like, shoots down Donna. And Donna has to get on to Arius's jabber, and they fly off. And they, like, retreat. They go to link back up with Sandra. And then Bisha is, like, Rue goes, like, Bisha, you fucking okay? And Bisha's like, yeah, guess I'll stay by Judo again. And then Pol's like, hello. And then Bisha's like, Nani? Pol?
And Fa gets back to the hospital, and she goes to check on Kamille and goes to his room. But that bed is sure empty.
Boy ain't here, but the bed's also warm, so he was here recently. Let's see. Oh, this next scene is fucking crazy, too. We were back on the bridge of the Argama. Judo is mad that nobody stopped Pol from going out on her own. And Bright's like, yeah, she might become an enemy, but she sure can fucking pilot, you gotta admit. Gotta hand it to her.
He's like, Astonage was right. She is an asset in battle. And I was like, she's 10.
She is a 10-year-old girl, Bright. And hey, fucking, speak of the devil, 10-year-old girl's here, wearing a dress. Maybe that she shouldn't be wearing. Uh-oh.
And, it was like, hey, guys, what the fuck? That is a dress that Judo bought for Lena. And Judo's just, like, in the background, just kind of, like, stone-faced, like, what the fuck? Oh, no.
I was so worried, but then, it's fine.
He's like, oh, that's fine, and just turns around. Like,
he's
I'm
like,
not gonna look at it, but it's fine.
He says it's best if Pol wears it, which I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused, but like I think my take on it is Judo is like I don't know, I don't think he's fully accepted Pol to be his new sister, but I feel like he's saying it's best if Pol wears it more for Pol's sake to like make her feel more welcome, I guess, and more comfortable.
Yeah, and kind of part of it I thought was like I could also see that line ending like. It's better she wears it than it doesn't get used at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he recognizes that, like, he can let Pol do this. It's not going to, like, tarnish the memory of Lena or what have you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good. I quite appreciated this scene just because it was, like, it's good.
And then, like, 10 Jeeps pull up and a bunch of feds.
You are under arrest.
They pull up and someone grabs the speaker in their truck and they're like... This is the mayor of Dublin. Yeah,
the fucking mayor is here. It's so funny. He's like, the Argama has been confiscated. Hand over your weapons now. And Bright is like, let's fucking ignore them. Let's keep on repairing the ship.
That shit cracked me up so much.
At least Bright knows when to disrespect authority.
Yeah, he's like, just ignore them. Not, don't tell them hell no. Don't tell them go away. Just fucking ignore them.
Remember, kids, don't talk to the cops. And then we see Fa driving back, too. And, they won't let Fa on. And they're trying to grab her. And Judo, like, this fucking rules. Because Judo is here with a gun. Like, he has a straight-up submachine gun. And he's like, let her go. And he asks the mayor, he's like, why are you after the Argama? Neo Zeon attacked first. And the mayor's like, well, this land has an independent spirit, which you foreigners would never understand. And then El and Eno show up and start shooting at them, too.
And so they let go of Fa. And, then Judo starts, like, shooting at their feet, and he's like, get out of here. Get.
Fuck out of here. It rules. I love it. Cracked me up.
And for some reason, Eno and El, even though they both grabbed guns, were like, hey, Shinta and Kum, come on with us. And we get a reunion between Shinta and Kum and Fa.
It's
really
cute.
sweet.
And Haru's there, too. And it looked like Haru's crying. I think it was, like, I don't know if it was, quality, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it kind of looked like Haru was there and was crying. And I was like, that's very, very cute. I like that shit. That's good.
I liked it. It was really nice.
Yeah, and she sort of talks to Bright on the bridge, and she tells him that Kamille's disappeared, and she's like, can we go out and find him? And like Judo sort of notes that she looks thinner, so I guess that purpose of that is to be like, okay, we should probably she's clearly worrying a lot about Kamille, and is like doing so much she can to take care of him. We got to help him out. Like, it's Kamille, we know. And then Judo's like, can we do a coach? Can we go chase him down? And even Pol is like, yeah, I'm new type. I can find new type.
Yeah, she's like, oh, he's a new type. I have the brain thing.
I'm one of those. And even Astonage is like, please, let's find Kamille. It's just like, I really like that Astonage, because Astonage was like really close with Kamille back in Zeta, so it's just, I appreciate that he was also like, let's come on, we gotta find Kamille. Come on.
And so everybody launches out in their different mobile suits because they're gonna go fly around and look for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Pol's in bed though.
Yeah, that's really weird because she was just like, yeah, I can find him with my new type stuff. And so you'd think that, like, she'd they let her hop in the core fighter with Judo.
I know, right?
She got left behind.
I guess because, so, calling back to the doctor thing, there was a little throwaway line of how, like, they maybe thought that the doctor was just, like, saying that she was good and letting her go because he didn't want to deal with a cyber new type, or just, like, knew that Bright was sending her there and didn't want to fuck with Bright at all. So maybe some of it is Bright being like, yeah, we don't necessarily know if you're good or not, so it's like, stay back here. But it is very, very weird to cut from Pol saying, yeah, I can find Kamille, to Pol being, confined to her room while everyone else finds Kamille but her.
Yeah, and like even if they didn't let her go, they should have still had her like on the bridge, like trying to feel out with her abilities or something. They're like, nope, just go to your room.
Just go to your room, young woman. Like, not great.
Yeah, like not like just stay up here and communicate via radio with them or something. But they're just like, nope, get out of here.
Stay there. And Anna is her name, right? Is it Anna or Amanda? I always forget. I think it's Anna.
It's Anna.
She mentions that Bright's just too worried about you for you to go out, and she kind of just like gets in a moment where she just like fully zonked out. She is staring straight ahead. She's in space, and she's like, "Glammy!" and just fucking books it into the Mark II.
And Astonage is like, "Hey, wait, it's still missing an arm," but she don't care.
She's going out with a one-arm mobile suit. Fucking go, you, Pull. And she's like, Pull, launching the Smash the Sandra.
And Bright is on the bridge, and he's like, "Who let her do this again?"
I don't know. Maybe literally everyone else is sent out fighting to find Kamille, and you just left her alone with Anna, who is like, I don't know. I like Anna. I like that she's like clearly just like tries to make sure the ship runs normally. Yeah. I appreciate that she's like one of the only adults in the room. But, you can't stop a cyber new type, especially not a fucking precocious 10-year-old child cyber new type. Let's see. What? We fucking see it next, don't we?
Yeah, so we cut over to the Sandra. It's flying across the water. And Lex is saying that he believes that they lost because they were fighting new types. And he's like, we should use the Psycho Gundam now.
Maybe we shouldn't. Just a thought. Maybe we shouldn't use the Psycho Gundam ever.
And Glimmy is like... You can't, because you can't handle the Psycommu.
You want your fucking brain to melt, my good guy?
He's like, we'll never know if I can't unless we try. And they're like, no, we're telling you, you can't do it, buddy.
Listen, Arius, you're Lex Luthor. You're not Brainiac. You're not Gorilla Grodd. You can't handle the Psycommu, buddy. I'm telling you. Get one of them smart DC heroes.
And then Glimmy's like, besides, I already have a pilot picked out.
And it's so obvious, but it's just like, you Glemmy, you little scamp. The Joker would get inside the Psycho Mark II and say, this is a normal mobile suit. Glemmy is like, he gets the news that a single mobile suit's approaching. And he tells Arius, he says this weird... I love how Glemmy always says this random cryptic shit. Because he tells Arius, you have to make the best of any situation you're in. That's how you find your way to the future. And Arius is like, fuck, what? And Glemmy just walks away.
And, so they're like, oh, it looks like she's going to ram the bridge. And she kind of does. She is flying, and she's thinking about how, like, just one good hit to the bridge is all that I'll need. One
good hit, and she do it a yoinky. And, she, like, fucking... She fires on it, and like, we'll see. So yeah, she rolls up. She crashes the Dodai into the bridge first, and then she's like hovering in the Mark II, and she's about to like ram it. But then
Arius launches to go fight her, and she gets some sort of a new type flash and some weird voice saying, "Hey, behind you!"
Behind you, she gets a fucking DM from a hidden Discord user. And she ends up getting shot down, and as she's falling, but then mysterious Discord user tells her to steal a base jabber, and she's like, of course, Judo. I don't think it's Judo she's talking to right now.
I don't think so.
No. And she ends up hijacking a jabber.
And then it tells her to get close to the Sandra and kind of use it as a shield. And like they can't fire at her without risking hitting the ship.
And like, she's fighting Donna, and Donna's shooting at her. And she ends up, like, getting kind of knocked back, and she's right next to the Psycho Mark II. And at this point, I'm like, oh, sisters, pull, please, Pull, you gotta get away from that thing. Listen to me, Pull, please. Oh, God, Pull, get away from that thing right now, please. I was so afraid.
And then we cut back to the Gundam team getting recalled back to the Argama. And but then that voice DMs Judo as well, and he's like, hey, head to the Sandra. The girl is in trouble.
And... It's the whole thing. It's just like it's so obvious. It's Kamille DMing her. I'm just like, fucking yes. This is just it's Zeta again. It's Kamille. I'm freaking out, right? And at this point, Bright calls Judah back, and Camille's like, nope, you got to go there. And then Kamille ends up DMing Rue and everyone else and saying the girl in the Mark II is in danger, and everyone heard it. And we do get a very cute Pull doing like a pseudo last shooting pose where she like raises, she fires her beam rifle into the air, but she's like out of battery. And then she loses energy and stumbles a little bit backwards, and then the Mark II starts to turn on, and I'm like, no, fuck, oh god, oh no!
Yeah, she bumps into the Mark II, and its eyes start glowing, and it starts to move. Dude. And she feels some, like, connection to it, and she starts having, like, this glowing green aura. And the voice is like, yo, get the fuck away from that, or else you are going to be swallowed.
Now. You
will be swallowed by the machine's aura.
Oh, God. And then, yeah, Arius flies in and cuts the Mark II's head off, the Gundam Mark II's. And then, but, Pole's able to fly away. She loses her main camera, but she's still good, and she just, like, crashes onto the beach. And she's beaten up, but she's totally safe, and Judo shows up here to fight in his core. And he's calling out to Pole, but then he gets DM'd by Kamille, and Camille's like, she's fine. Concentrate on the enemy. And then the other two parts show up here, and, like, Kamille is guiding them as, Arius and Donna and everyone else are shooting at them. And, like, he's like, turn left now. It's just, it's so fucking sick, dude.
And they eventually dock, and he uses the Super Mega Butthole Blaster to destroy one of the Bawoos and hit the Sandra.
Gets that fucking forehead juicy.
And, ooh, man, it's a pretty bad hit, and the Sandra has to retreat.
Mm-hmm. Too bad he didn't aim a little bit to the left so he could have destroyed the Mark II, but I'm sure that's going to fucking show up soon enough.
God, wouldn't that be wild if he just accidentally destroyed the Mark II?
That'd be so funny if it just got blown up and it was totally fine. Oh, that would be great. So yeah, the Sandra has to retreat, and then Beach ends up taking Pole out of the Mark II. Judo runs up and grabs her hand, and Fa is here now, and Fa's like, hey, fucking be careful. But she's alive still.
Yeah, Fa's like, hey, don't shake the person who just crashed her ship and is unconscious.
She probably broke all of her bones. But then she wakes up and she's like, I know where Kamille is. And Fa's, and this is a really, really cool thing from Fa, because Fa's like, you can tell us later. Like, right now, you got to be careful about yourself. So I like that Fa, recognizes that the more pressing situation is the little 10-year-old girl who's broken all of her bones in one go.
And Pole's like, no, he was the mystery voice who was leading us all. And she tells Judo to carry her, and she'll lead them to him.
He's kind, isn't he? He was talking to me all throughout the battle. And then we get taken over there, and we see Kamille sitting on the cliffs. And he's just, like, sitting on a rock, looking out of the ocean. And he's like, and Judo says, Kamille Bidan, the new type. And he's kind of, like, stands up, and he, like, stares at them, and, like, Fa just runs up and holds him. And we just get, like, this extended shot of Fa just, like, holding him by the ocean as the episode fades out. And I'm just like, this Kamille, it's my boy!
And this is when I messaged Max, and I was like, man, I'm having such a good time with these episodes. These are such good episodes, so fun. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So let me give you my incredibly detailed and thorough summary of Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta episode 35. The sky is falling. War crime colony drop. Not very good. I'm a little bit worried, perhaps. I'm thinking that I don't know about this one, Jake.
Yeah.
So fucking the Argom is flying still. Mark II's on the wing. It's all fucked up. Fucking, hey, Hayato's here. My boy. Thick Man's here. He messages them from the Outhoomla. And he says, hey, can you go back to Dublin, please?
And they're like, why would we do that? And he's like, a colony from Side 4 is falling.
Jesus Christ. Bright's like, a colony drop. It's just like, fuck, like, okay. So I was already wary enough of the episode being titled, like, The Sky is Falling. Because, first of all, Kamille is back, right? But beyond that, I remember Rosa Mia and her bullshit with Kamille, and her whole thing was the sky is falling. The Zeta destroyed my life, or whatever the fuck. So having Kamille return and then having the sky is falling being set out, like, in the episode title, and also the Psycho Mark II's in play once more, I'm very, very worried. And I'm glad to see that I was worried for the exact wrong reason, but I was right to be worried in the first place.
You know what? I did not make that connection with the title. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
I mean, honestly, I think that that's just, like, I don't know. I want to say it's a coincidence, but, like, why? Train, please. Pat Monahan and your cool band, go away. I don't know. I think it might be more of a coincidence, because I think it's more of a literal, something is falling out of the sky onto the Earth, because I don't think that Rosa-Mia has ever been a part of a colony drop. Because as far as I know, the only other time a colony was dropped was obviously the start of the 1 Year War. I think that Zeon tried to drop another colony at some point and it was diverted.
I think so, yeah.
I think there's only been like 1 or 2 other colony drops before this one. I could be wrong.
I think just the one. I think you're right.
More of a coincidence. I think it's just more of a cool, a fucking cool epic thing to say. No. Regardless, though, yeah, they have to head back, and we see Foz taking care of Kamille in bed, and Pull's there too. They're in like the infirmary on the Argama, and like Kamille starts freaking out, reaching up, and like Pull's also freaking out, and something's not good for these poor new types, huh?
No. And like he almost seems like he's in pain, and he flails out his arms and knocks over a vase that's on the table next to him, and
poor guy. freaking out.
Judo's in the room, and he's like, I think that this is happening to Kamille because he can sense the colony.
Yeah. It's like his familiar voices cried out and were suddenly silenced. Star Wars, do you get it? When we cut over fucking Mont Saint Michel in France. This is absolutely Mont Saint Michel. There's no way to say this is anything but that. We see a Zeon ship flying overhead. I think it's actually a Garuda that Zeon took over. It's like gray. And we see fucking Rakan Dakaron from like a long ass time ago.
He's back?
He's back. He's on Earth. He opens a letter and he remembers Haman telling him the plan of, we're gonna fucking drop a colony. He's gonna be so fucking cool, dude. Everyone's gonna be so afraid of Zeon. It's gonna be sick.
They'll never try to challenge us again.
I mean, probably not. Clearly the Federation's not gonna.
She's like, I read Ender's Game, and I know the lesson of beat your enemy so bad they'll never fight you again.
Oh, God. Yeah, pretty much. So fucking, let's see. With our next scene here, Bright and Hayato are on the Argama now. Hayato's, I guess, flown over and landed on there. And they're talking about how Amuro is gone. Amuro's in space. Remember fucking Amuro? Fuck that guy. He's in space, dicking around somewhere, so we can't fly over and help them. They're just gonna have to wait and do what they can before it falls. And we get this really... Oh god, this scene fucking hurted. Because Bright ends up taking Hayato to Katz's room on the Argama, and it's like, looks like it's in like a decently messed up section of the ship that like people probably don't use anymore. Because it's like, all sort of warped and messed up. And he's like, yeah, we did renovations, but we ended up leaving Katz's room exactly how it was. We see a family photo of the Kobayashis, and I was like, oh no, it's so sad.
And then the way that he was kind of talking about it, I was like, shit, is this Hayato learning about Katz's death?
Okay, so I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because I wanted to talk about this too, right? Because we know for certain that Kika, Let's, and Frau do not know Katz is dead. Maybe Kika and Let's felt him die, because they're also new types. But I don't know if Hayato knew before now. Because he doesn't really react in like this horribly devastated way. But it really does seem like he didn't know until just now, which I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You didn't tell Hayato that his son died?
And then, like, God, I was sitting there and I like you said, he doesn't really react. So I was like, maybe he knew, but he never really had anybody to talk to about it. Yeah. Or maybe
he's like super in shock right now and isn't reacting at all.
Yeah.
But he does mention that he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to tell the rest of the family like after the war, and I'm like, oh my god, this episode's so fucking sad.
And Bright says something about Kamille can tell you about Katz's death, and I was like, I don't know if this is the right time, but okay.
Yeah, let's get the fucking traumatized boy to tell you about how his son got killed by a fucking vampire. Or no, he was killed. Sarah killed him? No, I think Jared killed him. Maybe Yazan killed him.
I don't remember. Fuck. I just remember.
It wasn't even that long ago when I finished Zeta. I think it was Yazan who killed him. Anyway, yeah, no, it was Yazan who killed him. The point is, fucking Katz died, right? We all know it. And Hayato wants to see Kamille now, so he sort of goes in Bright calls the sick bay. No one picks up because Kamille and Fa are not in bed right now. And then we sort of cut right over to the hangar. Kamille is in his like OG outfit from Zeta, like his nice little sweater with the collar and everything. And my boy wants to go to Glasgow.
It seems like Judo and Fa want him to go, but he isn't really wanting to get into the core fighter.
I don't know, because like half of it seems like Kamille wants to go, and half of it seems like Kamille really doesn't want to go. But I think the main thing is like they want to make sure that Kamille is somewhere safe where he doesn't need to feel, you know, the fucking immense psychic pressure of an entire colony being dropped on a city. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not good for the boy.
It's a bit damaging for the psyche.
It just is just a wee bit.
But everybody's kind of arguing about what is best for Kamille. Mm-hmm. And as they are, he jumps out of the core fighter and starts to run away.
Mm-hmm. And like fucking Beach has to tackle him.
Yeah, they're like not too rough, and he's like, I know.
Oh, real quick, we did get a very fucked up line earlier. Like right before Kamille runs away, Judo asks Hayato, is like, hey, why is the Earth Federation not doing anything to stop the colony? Like, why is this an Ayugan Karaba job? And Hayato like literally says, the Federation wants it to happen. Like, they know it's going to happen. They want the population to drop at any cost. And it is fucking dire, you know?
God, yeah. And yeah, he's just like, yeah, they know, and they're just choosing not to do anything. They're just letting... So he's like, that's why we have to take care of it.
God, it's fucking... Oh my... Awful. Horrible. Let's see. Yeah, so Kamille runs off and he gets tackled. And then, like, we get another really, like, haunting scene almost, right? Where Hayato sort of walks over to Kamille and he's like... It's drawn... I almost said filmed. It's drawn in, like, a very... startling way where Hayato's like lit from underneath and like staring down at Kamille, and like Camille sort of like new type DMs him like a picture of cats, and Hayato just kind of starts to understand it, I guess.
And like you can kind of see like horror in Camille's eyes. Like they drew him looking terrified, and
it is like oof.
And this is when I then messaged Max and I said, actually, I'm not having a good time.
And that's when you messaged me that you weren't having a good time before more bad things happen.
Mm-hmm. I was like, good time has stopped.
Mm-hmm. We are no longer have a good time. We have a bad time.
I was like, I am scared for the rest of this episode.
Hey, you were fucking right to be scared. But Hayato sort of like kind of relents, and he's like, okay, you can take my plane to Glasgow. And they kind of take Kamille and fall over the cockpit, and then Kamille. Like, they say, can you get in? And Camille's like, uh-huh. And they're like, what the fuck? Did you say something? And he starts to say Judo's name. He just says Ju... And then he, like, sort of DMs all of the new Gundam team. He, like, just, like, blasts them with the soup. And they all see pull, and they all see space, and it's fucking... What's this kid doing?
And then Judo is, like, the one that we kind of experience this through his eyes. And then, like, he's locked eye contact with Kamille, and sees like the flashing of Fa's face over it, and then like when he snaps out of it, Kamille and Fa are already on the plane.
Yeah, like Judo got a big old cup of soup, and like they're totally flying off, and like Hayato and Bright are like they know that, you know, some new type shit just happened, but they can't get it because they're not new types themselves. But you know, we see a little scene of Fa and Kamille as they're flying to Glasgow, and Fa's like, I know that your feelings got through to them all, so. Whatever Kamille just did, the kids understand it. Which that's a nice little thing. I feel... I can only imagine that it's Camille's wishes of them to be safe and them to, like, make, you know, and end the fighting what you can do, you know? I feel like that's kind of in line with Camille's character of being like, you know, this is what happens when you fight. Be careful.
Yep.
I don't know. It's sad, right? It's like, I'm so happy we get to see Kamille, but at the same time, and I'm glad he's doing better than he was before, but it's still just like, Kamille got broken by the war, you know? It sucks. It hurts to see.
Oh, man. And then it just kind of cuts to a quick shot of the colony falling to Earth. It's got a lot of, like, thrusters, like, strapped to the side and is, like, pushing it down towards the Earth. And there's a couple of battleships, like, guiding it.
Yeah, like a little space tugboats.
Yeah.
And we see... So we also see the Garuda, the Xeon Garuda, flying over. And Rakan is in a Zaku 3.
A Zaku 3. Oh, I love this boy.
It almost feels wrong. I want you to like describe me the Zaku 3, but it almost feels wrong to do so while the colony is dropping. But I still want to hear about the beautiful Zaku 3.
All right, so take the Zaku, make it mainly like silver with some dark gray accents, and then on its head it's got like it's got, the Zaku like gas mask looking thing. And it's got the beautiful mono eye sliding back and forth.
Yes.
And in the middle of its head, it's got one big antenna, and it's got two like spikes kind of protruding from the back of its head, like a little alien or something.
They almost look, the way they kind of bulge out, they almost look like they're like tridents or something. They look like spears. They don't really look like straight antennas because they have this like little like almost blade on them. Yeah. It's a very interesting choice.
And then like on one shoulder, the Paladin is like this big kind of shield-like thing, and the other shoulder Paladin has just these gigantic spikes on it.
Yeah.
And it's bigger and chonkier than a Zaku 2. It's got big thrusters all over it on the back. And oh man, it's just a big chunky Zaku 2, and it's got a red cockpit right in the middle.
A very, very dark red, which looks really good on it.
Yeah, just like as like the main accent right there.
Like a cool thing to note is like, first of all, its leg, like they're not really binders, but like it has huge fucking calves. Like the sort of thruster bells on the legs are huge. It has the shield on its right shoulder is fucking thick too, like way bigger than any other like shoulder mounted shield like we see on the Marasai and the Zaku 2. Like it looks like a very interesting evolution of the Zaku 2 in that it takes a lot of what we saw in the Hyzak in Zeta and brings it back onto the Zaku, because the Hyzak was probably designed by a lot of people who like were taken from Zeon and put into Anaheim. And I didn't like it when I first saw it, but like I appreciate that it's like this big, chunky, ugly looking motherfucker,
Yeah.
It looks brutal,
I really liked it.
It's cool. And I feel like the juxtaposition of it being introduced while the colony is dropping is really testing the limits of me saying, wow, cool robot,
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like, wow, cool robot, but at what cost? But yeah, Rakan's piloting it, and he's ready to do some crimes. And he has his Drysons out, too, and they all get sent out. Because this fucking, oh my god, he's going to teach the decrepit Earth denizens the meaning of despair.
Yeah.
Oof, yeesh.
And he basically wants to disrupt all the rescue efforts. He wants to maximize death.
This motherfucker is a freak, because the Argama is like tuning into this TV broadcast of everyone evacuating the city, and the TV anchor literally says rescue operations are starting late because the Federation is denying the colony is dropping. Like, holy fucking shit, they're just saying it out loud. Like, it's scary.
And then they shoot down the news helicopter.
Yeah, Rakan says, block all the exits. I want as many people to die in this as possible. Like, oh my god! It is fucking batshit, because, so I've been, as we watch Double Zeta, Jake, I feel like we have all these characters, all the people in Neo Zeon, really, they're evil. They're on the bad guy team, but they're like, there's this degree of bumblingness to them. Like, Mashmer and Kara, fucking yeah, like they're evil, but they're just fucking goofballs. And Glemmy is clearly evil, but like even Glemmy has some comedic moments about him. And like, a lot of the Zia, like the commanders underneath them are like evil and like, let's kill these fucking kids. And even Haman, says some war crime shit, but like I feel like Rakan is, at least in like what he says and how he acts, is like the most despicable character we've seen so far, because like literally every single thing he does is to maximize like the death and suffering of this like fucking horrendous thing Zeon's doing right now. It's shocking almost, it's like I know that Double Zeta started out lighthearted and gets back to like the Gundam broodiness and darkness, but like this is a bit much, fuck
yeah. Like sometimes they haven't done it so much in this series, but like in some of the other Gundam series, like you'll see Zeon guys and like they're just dudes, kinda like they're just dudes who are on that side of the war, but they're not necessarily evil people. This guy is an evil motherfucker, and holy shit, like there is no like, well, in his eyes, this is like he was doing this for good.
Yeah, no,
this he knows this, like he has to know this is fucked up, and he just doesn't.
He doesn't have the benefit that Jared and Yazan had of like, oh yeah, they're evil, but they're also my funny little guys. Like Rakan is like, too. I cannot sanction his buffoonery. Like there is nothing about Rakan that I think is good or cool. I think he's just a horrible evil man.
The only thing cool about him is like
his robot.
His robot. And just the fact that he's sleeveless. Like, that's always a good character
design.
Yeah,
he's a fucking cool goatee buff guy. He looks very, very cool. He's a very good character design. But, too bad he's like the fucking most evil person on the show, kind of.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
Yeah, God. And, yeah, he just starts shooting. And, like, our next scene is Judah talking to Pol in a hospital bed. They're talking about Kamille's sadness. And, like, you know, Judah has to stop this so Kamille, you know, not only to save the day, but also because Kamille is like, you know, Kamille showed him his sadness and his wounds, and this is this very, very cute thing of Pol telling Judo that she loves him, and Judo's like, I need you to rest, like, be strong, let your wounds heal. And I loved this scene. I feel like this scene was Judo, like, fully accepting Pol as, like, his new sister in a way. Not to replace Lena, but I feel like this is Judo being like, okay, like, I'm accepting Pol. Yeah. Because it's certainly not a romantic I love you, Judo. It's like a sibling thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And I just really thought it was a really great scene, especially after, you know, Rakan's bullshit. Because I feel like it's really Judo growing and being okay with Pol, and not that he shouldn't be okay with Pol in the first place, but you know what I mean. It's like, I just really quite like after the last several episodes, you know, Judo's like finally like, I guess, forgiven Pol and accepted her. And it's just like this very, very nice little scene of this like just pure, nothing but tenderness between them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. I fucking like Pol. Can't wait to see what this nasty new Pol is all about.
Then we cut to the bridge, and they're kind of talking about their rescue plans.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to launch like containers down to the ground and basically load people up. And it kind of made me think of like the shipping containers that you see. They're just going to load them in that and like bring those back up to the Argama.
Yeah, well, I think what they're going to do is they're going to load them onto boats, because they mentioned that, like, you know, the enemy has like taken all the roads and all the land, so they're, you know, they do it by boats. They can't fly over the water as well. And then the entire Gundam team sorties, and like all the, you know, the Karabi reinforcements are here on their Dodais and in their gyms and everything. So it's like, this is the fucking Battle of Dublin, I guess. And important to note, Hayato also says that he wants the Federation higher-ups to also be saved too, because they have evidence of their crimes.
Yeah, they need to pay for their crime.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So, yeah, that'll begin.
And as they like start to sortie, Judo detects like movement to the south, and then a beam shoots out and hits the airport building where everybody's gathering.
Oh.
And then there was a part that, like, to me, stuck out as kind of funny. Like, it shouldn't have been, but it kind of was a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's like screaming and panicking, and there's the sound of like a crowd moving. But it's just placed over a still picture of a crowd. Like everybody's like screaming and like running around, and then it's just, you just see some dudes standing there. And to me, that was just kind of funny. Like, I know that they put their budget into animating the cool fight scenes, so they didn't really need to animate this. But it was just funny to me.
Mm-hmm. Just
kind of took me out of it for a second. A little comedic relief.
A little bit of brevity.
Before the big heavy hitters.
Yeah. And then fucking we're in Glasgow, because Fa and Kamille are in their airport, and so I didn't understand. Are they trying to fly back to Dublin or something?
I figured that maybe they just took their little plane that he gave them to Glasgow, and they were going to take a plane to get even further away.
Because Fa mentions that like the flights through Dublin are all blocked. So I don't know. I guess because they have to fly that way, like they have to fly over Dublin or something. I genuinely don't know. I feel like I don't know if it was a weird translation or what. Again, I'm sure the kind of people in our Discord will let me know what the real answer is outside of a weird translation. But yeah, very confused by that. I didn't quite get it. But as this is happening, Kamille like gets up and runs over to the window because he feels the crime incoming, and Judo and Pol feel the crime incoming too. And then Rakan says, hey, can you do this on water? And fucking blows up one of the refugee ships in like, it looks like he got nuked or something, right?
Because this is like a huge explosion.
Bright fucking white explosion, and everyone like freezes and stops. And like, God. I'm so mad that Rakan is such a cool looking guy, and he has a cool robot because he's so fucking evil. You hate to see him, but you love to see him.
Yeah.
So then we cut back over to the airport, and Fa's still trying to get a ticket. Can you sort of walk me through this fucking inane bullshit that happens next?
So she gets like shoved out of the way by the Federation oldman, and she kind of overhears them talking about like, well, we got to get the fuck out of here. You know, we can't be caught up in this. But hey, at least the price of food's going to go down after this for a little while.
God. Just
and
fucking pure evil.
Yeah, they're just talking about like, oh yeah, like just kind of like, oh, this is just an inconvenience for us.
Yeah, well, hey, it's good. Karaba and Aig are going to be broken by this, so we'll be able to wipe them up afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is just fucking disgusting. Gundam is laying it on, I think, a little too thick in these episodes.
And then Fa turns around after getting pushed out of the way by the oldman, and she sees that Kamille is gone again.
My boy fucking booking it down the street.
And we cut to see him. He is outside. He is running around, and like he says that the sky is falling.
Fucking Chicken Little.
We cut to Ru and Bicha. They're fighting some enemies, and Judo blows up a Dryson.
Yeah.
And then Hayato comes flying in with a GM and a glider, and like the gym gets blown up, and I was like, oh fuck, he's dead. Hayato just died like that? What? But no, he's in the plane. It's okay.
Yes, Hayato is alive currently. He's in the little Dodai, yeah.
Yeah, he's in a Dodai. And he's like, okay, I can blow myself up to stop them.
Fucking maybe don't, Hayato. Good God.
And then he's like, Cats, I might be able to hear your voice.
Oh. But then fucking Judai to the rescue. Judai, I recorded Yu-Gi-Oh! Earlier today. Judo to the rescue. And he like DMs him. He's like, hey, Hayato, do not. And he blows up one of the Drysons. And Hayato's like, what was that for? And
why'd you stop me?
It's normal to stop a guy from trying to kill himself. And Hayato's like, oh, huh, got me there. Yeah, true.
And so we cut back to the bridge, and they say that there's only about an hour left before the colony makes contact. And they're like, okay, this will have to be our last pickup.
One more to go. And like, they have to fucking go because they will be crushed by the colony if they don't. And Rakan is like starting to like, he's basically heading over to the Aothuma because he's going to take them the fuck out. And Hayato's following him in the Dodai. And Judo wants to form the double Zeta. And like, Rakan is trying to stop them. But Hayato, like, you know, because when they form it, they can't fire back, obviously. And Rakan's about to shoot them. And then Hayato flies in and fires on Rakan. And he distracts them long enough for them to form the double Zeta. But
then Rakan turns and shoots Hayato, and I was like, "Oh shit! No, now he's dead." But then after we see them form the double Zeta, we see that he's not dead. He's just falling. He's okay. He's not dead yet, or he's not dead. And then a few seconds later,
just a few fucking seconds later,
he fucking blows up.
He's like,
oh no, now he is. They rule of three to me.
Cats, I hear your voice, and then he fucking dies, and it's just like. There's, like, no money left from fucking White Base. Like, okay, Ryu died. Hayato's dead. Bright's still alive. Mirai's alive. Frau's alive. I guess a lot of people are still alive. But Ryu and Hayato are dead. And fucking Amuro and Char, MIA. I mean, we know Char's alive, but at this point we didn't know he was alive. Where the fuck is Sayla? Oh my god! I want to know where Sayla is. I want people to stop dying. Oh god.
And then at this point, Judo's
ape shit.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's trying to catch Rakan. And like Bright orders Judo back because they're running out of time. It's about to hit. And he's like, no, I have to shoot down this motherfucker. And like he's chasing him. And
yeah, like he's just going the fuck after him. And like I'm getting ahead of myself. Pull is like calling after Judo. Pull's like, please don't do this. And we see Kamille running through Glasgow. And you know, sky's falling, Chicken Little. Like, you know, if they cause any more grief. And Judo's flying around trying to find Rakan. And Rakan like pops out of the water. And Rakan calls him mad for not running away. And Judo's like, anyone fighting a war is mad. And then it happens.
Past one another. And then right at that moment, the colony lands, there's an explosion, and then
everything's like frozen. It's terrifying.
I was just kind of like, I know this is terrible, but they didn't really show it. I was just like, is that it?
I don't know. So it's like it lands, and we see this like shockwave hit Dublin, but like the colony is, it's just kind of there.
It just kind of sits down like, boop.
It didn't blow up. It didn't collapse. It's just there. I don't know. I was like, I actually watched the end of episode preview for next week, so I was like, what happened? But like, we only really see Pull 2 doing some bullshit in that. And like, we do see Kamille at the end of this episode. He's just like kind of collapses like on his knees on the dock because, the grief hits him again, and fucking poor guy. I don't know though. It's just, not to say I expected the war crime to do more damage, but like,
And like, I'm sure that it is like going to do a lot of damage, but they didn't show it. That's for sure.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just looking. I don't know. I'm looking forward to next week. Maybe I'll like watch the episodes earlier than I usually do because I kind of.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to.
Yeah, maybe at least the first one because like I want to see what fucking Pull 2 is up to. I don't know. Fucking good ass episodes this week though.
Oh,
even though they hurted me. That shit hurted. Fuck. But hey, that's Gundam, and as of now, Jake, we have 12 more episodes of the show.
4 more episodes of the pod.
5 more episodes of the pod if we count our wrap-up.
Oh, that is true. And
then, hey, you don't even get to take a break because we're going to do Shark's Counterattack after that. So we're getting there. Well, as usual, I was too fucking disheartened to find a bit for the end of the episode. So instead, we're going to do a little thought exercise, Jake.
Okay, I like that.
I don't know if you've been seeing one of the more recent Twitter memes, and actually I know for a fact that you've seen the one I posted earlier today, because something's been going around called Dream Blunt Rotation.
And I feel really dumb for how long it took me to like
to get it.
And then,
yeah, but
and then I was like,
you're like,
okay, it makes sense. Like it just clicked.
It's very fucking funny. Essentially, the whole thing boils down to what would be the funniest combination of 4 characters to smoke weed with. And I tweeted out my personal like 4 favorite UC Gundam characters so far. Well, I don't know. I might change it. So I tweeted out on the official show's Twitter, Rambo Rao, Jared Mesa, Yazan Gable, and Amon Karn. Not my absolute 4 favorite characters of UC. I think that would probably be Jared. Fuck. I don't know. I don't want to name a double Zeta character yet because I haven't finished it yet. But if I'm just going 0079 and Zeta, I'm going to hit Rambo Rao, Jared, Yazan, and it'd be really funny to smoke weed with Baptist. Either way, okay. My question to you, Jake. I want you to give me your Gundam blunt rotation. We're not necessarily going for the best experience, but the funniest experience. Like, what would be the fucking, for clout, the funniest 4 characters to get down with?
Absolutely. At least at this point of Double Zeta where we're at, like you said, we're not finished, so we don't know what they do or don't do in the future. But you gotta get Mashmer in there.
Oh, you gotta get Mashmer in there, though.
And then...
Mashmer strikes me to be the kind of guy who's like, acts like he's like, yes, I've smoked weed before. And he like gets in a fucking 5-minute coughing fit and 1 small pull. And he's just fucking done. Just no experience, all pomp, all bombast. Nothing to back it up. Good. Mashmer, canonical correct choice.
And then I feel like he's gonna bring the blunt for us, is Kai.
Oh, shit, yeah, dude, Jake, you're getting it so good. Kai's like, yeah, when I gave the Pope a copy of Undertale, he gave me this cool blunt. It's gotta be Kai. It's gotta be Kai, too. He lights it with his fucking bullwhip somehow. Oh, I think I just like it. I don't think, does he even have a bullwhip in the show? He has a pistol. I think I just really like, in my mind's eye, manifested him just being Indiana Jones.
Hell yeah.
But regardless, he lights the blunt with the bullwhip. Okay, very good. Wonderful.
And then, Who else? I gotta keep this energy.
I'm thinking. We gotta get really fucking silly with it. I mean, Kara soon.
Okay, yeah.
It would be very weird. I feel like getting Mashmer and Kara together would be a lot. No, okay, scratch Kara. We're bringing Gotten into the mix. Mashmer made Gotten tag along. Gotten wanted to just sit at home and, like, watch some fucking Bachelor in Paradise or something. Gotten didn't want to be a part of this. But I feel like Gotten can have a good time when he just, like, starts ignoring Mashmer's right there. I feel like he can cut loose, you know.
Yeah, and then here's kind of a weird pick, but like this one just kind of popped out to me like, oh, you know what? Might be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Astonage. That dude can be kind of cool sometimes.
Oh, I love that flavor. No, think about it though. Astonage has seen so much. He's not like, he's not like one of the main characters, but he's seen so much action. He's the kind of guy who's so fucking wise and you don't know it until you spend time with him. Because he's been the mechanic, like, on the Argama the entire time, like, through Zeta and Double Zeta. Oh my god, yeah, Astonage is like, he fucking knows shit. He's the kind of guy that, like, old man to see Willie Nelson, he's got knowledge for you.
Yeah. Oh,
I love that. Oh, very good. I think... Oh, I got a totally separate list for you.
Okay.
Just off the dome, 4 totally separate characters that I think would be really cool to bring. Let's get Kasval Ram Daikun in the mix. All right?
Okay.
Let's bring Edward Moss into the mix. How about we get Char Aznavour there too? And I think for the 4th, let's invite Quattro Bagina as well.
That sounds like a real good party.
Just a really totally different people, totally different experiences, different names mainly, People have different names. That means they're different people.
Absolutely.
Cool hair, cool muscles. One of them doesn't have sleeves, which is a fucking fun time.
Always.
Can't wait till I'm, like, seeing, like, every fucking Gundam series so I can just, like, get the most, like, deranged mix from all the fucking series. Like, bring in Orga Itsuka from Iron-Blooded Orphans. That would be the fucking worst time imaginable. Oh my god.
Ramba Rao, but from Build Fighters.
Yeah, it'd be Ramba Rao from 007i and then Rao from Build Fighters. Yeah. Honestly, I think literally every character from G Gundam would be a fucking blast.
Hell yeah.
Just like Master Asia's fucking weekend. Fuck yeah. See, I'm glad that we get to do the silly bullshit after the show to cheer us up after bad things happened. I think this is good.
That was a good one.
This is good for our spirits. Yeah, thank you, Twitter memes. Maybe next week we'll have another fucking fun Twitter meme. Or hopefully, I'll just be able to... Oh, maybe, you know what? I think maybe I'll do Pull 2's voice actor next week. Or Pull's voice actor next week, because I think, now that Pull 2 is here, I feel like Pull's important enough. We can talk about her.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, as we're toning down... As we're tuning down... What's the fucking spooling down? I don't give it...
I have no clue.
Where are you on the internet, Jake? I'm losing my mind.
As we're cooling down.
Cooling? Maybe... I genuinely do not know what the fuck I was trying to say, but like my brain is turned into soup. Where can we find you on the internet, Jake?
You can find me on the twitter.com at Mr. Jakey Poo. You can also find me on a podcast, Most Foul, where my wife and I are reading through the Artemis Fowl books, her for the first time and me revisiting them. You can also find me on Hearts Against Balance, a Kingdom Hearts-inspired actual play podcast, where I am playing Seahawk from She-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
And where can we find you, Max?
I am on the internet at MaxyBajillion on Twitter. My other shows are Pot of Greed, the world's #1 and only Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast sponsored by Kaiba Corp. We just talked about duels with a funny, sexy vampire lady. It's Castlevania. That was actually with guest Gigalithic, who is the artist of acclaimed Switch detective open world mystery game Paradise Killer.
Oh, shit.
It was a fucking fun time. And my other show, that's on Twitter, Pot of Greedcast. And my other show is called... Slappers Only. I almost plugged this one that we're on. You can go to slappersonlypod.com or slappersonlypod on Twitter. Hear me and my friend Jordan talk about video game music. When this episode goes up, we will have recorded our episode on Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, a certified good video game.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
It'll be... Yeah?
Oh, I was going to say, I just remembered I had another thing to plug. I don't know if it's going to come out around the same time as this episode, or time's not real. I'm not sure. But I'm about to guest on an episode of Standoff,
oh fuck yeah, dude! Oh shit yeah!
A JoJo's Bizarre Adventure bracket podcast where they are taking every stand in existence and putting it up against each other in a bracket. And so go check out that podcast. It's really freaking good, and I'm going to be on it for an episode.
Stuff. Oh, that's so exciting! I'm going to see if I can get Cat and Kingdom on a guest next season of GX, because I know Kingdom is a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, and I think Kingdom talks more about GX than about Duel Monsters. So
that would be great.
Oh, that's exciting! Oh, I'm excited to hear you, Jake. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, and that means, and you're going to be in like the new round, and I don't even know because I'm caught up. So like I don't at that point. The hosts don't know what they're going to do for the next round, so I'm very excited to hear it.
Oh, I'm going to be on the last episode of round 4, I think.
Okay, all right. Oh, this is going to be so fucking good. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, okay. Well, I believe it's my turn for Robot of the Week.
I believe so. I had Alpha last week.
Yeah, that's right. I refuse to say it until you ask me. It's simply etiquette.
So, Max, what's our Robot of the Week?
My Robot of the Week, Jake, is a big friend known as Gurren Lagann.
Ooh, okay.
Which is technically 2 robots in 1, and technically it's not a robot, it's a gunman. But either way, Gurren Lagann is a robot that is combined 2 robots, Gurren and Lagann. Gurren, I think, meaning face, which is the head, and Lagann is the big body, which also has a face on his chest. All the gunmen have faces like on their chest, which is kind of a cool thing. So it's like a 2-faced robot, and it's all drills, and Gurren Lagann is like my first favorite anime. I love that show dearly. It's a very, very fun mech show where it's like, it's more of a shonen mech show, really. It's like beyond Super Robot because they do like the most batshit stuff with the robots, but like just a really beautifully animated show. It's by Trigger, so you know it's good. Check it out. I like it a lot. Pretty sure it's on Crunchyroll, so it's a good time. Yeah. I love all the permutations of Gurren Lagann, Super Gurren Lagann, or it goes Super Gurren Lagann. There's Is it
It's been a long time, but it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more ridiculous and more amazing.
I think it goes Galaxy Gurren Lagann, then Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, then Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and then Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Anyway, it's a fucking good-ass show. Drill to the heavens. Ten Mosuke. Okay, we're closing it. As we always say, Jake, in the words of our ancestors, war is bad.
Wow. Cool drill that'll pierce the heavens.
Ah, fuck yeah, dude.